So I know people probably saw the title of this video and rushed in to either say, "Fuck you, Barky, I still play this game every day and night. It's amazing, I love you, Sean." Or to tell me how nothing could ever make them play this game again. But that isn't what this video is about, I promise it's not. What this video is, it's just me being curious about what the developers, Hello Games, could do to make people actually want to come back to their game, which has dropped like 99.9% of all its players. It peaked at about 200 today so far. It is quite early in the morning. It peaked at 250,000 at launch. So that's more like 99.9% or 99.7% of its entire player base that has disappeared. I know we all want the game Sean promised, but I thought this was a pretty interesting kind of way to look at it. I'm not trying to start a shit fight here with people arguing about what he said and what he actually did. I'm just asking a little question. So what I did, I put up a thread on the subreddit titled "Serious People Who Stop Playing the Game, what would a content update need to include to make you want to play the game again?" And now I know people are going to be screaming in my ears with things like, "Barky, that's such a biased question, you're a dumbass, and I don't appreciate the true art of the game," and stuff like that. But really, I'm just genuinely curious about what it would take to make people want to come back to play this game, because the base is there. The procedural generation is great if it's got like a nice fun underlying aspect, which is what I spoke about in my last No Man's Sky video, where I said that the gameplay is ultimate. It's the fun part of any game is the underlying gameplay. So yeah, as I said, I just asked people what it would take to make them want to come back, and the results are pretty damn interesting actually. So the top comment went to Geek Salads, who said, "Honest answer, they can't do anything that would make me play it again. The game has just become something that I don't acknowledge or even have the slightest bit of interest in playing again. The excitement of those first 3 hours or so, and I'm being generous here, has long died. No trivial base building update that would be halfway fun for 5 minutes top, or even multiplayer could bring me back." Now, this one's pretty interesting to me because it's the most upvoted comment in the thread, which generally means that most people agree with what was said. I had a poll a few weeks ago, which I'm making another video about some other time in the future, but I was asking people if they would play the game again, and the resounding answer was 89% of people, out of about 3,900 I think, were saying no, as in they wouldn't play it again. Now, this is weird to me and a bit alien in the sense that I don't think there's a game that I would never play again if they handled the post-release correctly, as in they added the required amount of stuff that made me want to play it again. I would never write off a game, because if the devs have enough time and money, they can really make things work. So I take Division, for example, because I bought it a very long time ago, maybe like 8 months ago, or whenever it came out. I bought it a week after it came out, because it looked fun, and I played it and it was just okay, but I didn't want to refund it because I had played it quite a bit and I'd played it for more than 2 hours, so I couldn't anyways. It just got old really quickly. But recently I picked it up, and with the latest patch or two, it's just so much better. There's so much less grind, which is just awesome because that's like almost a year ago that the Division came out. So I don't know how long it was, but it's a very long time ago that the game came out. So I'm not saying that No Man's Sky has the potential to be the Division, nor am I saying that it should be, but it could be. I don't know, it could be really cool. Like, they could go back and spend a ton of time and effort onto it. Which brings me to the next point. It's what Shogunno1 said, I think I'm saying the name right. He wants creatures that are actually dangerous. Huge creatures die as easily as tiny creatures. And then he also went on to say simple NPC quests like, "I've lost my 3 space chickens, go and find them. They're on the 3 planets of the solar system." Or he was asked to find a rare element that is guarded by a dangerous creature. I don't know, that sounds pretty cool. It's like a Radiant quest system in Skyrim. And then finally, the ability to hide the HUD. I have no idea if that's part of the game already. I think they did patch that in, I think. Anyways, this is really interesting because he's writing that the creatures in this game are like just non-threatening whatsoever past the first 5 minutes or so of gameplay. Creatures could be made to be way more interesting in terms of speed, size, damage, and health. The way he wrote it, I took it to mean HP, as in he wants creatures who have more health, or something along those lines. I think it would be amazing if some of the creatures had some abilities, as in some lizards were incredibly quick but had really low HP, or the fabled Diplosaurus had like 100 times the normal HP, but he was way slower than usual. Stuff like that, it would add like a nice element in. I'm surprised it wasn't in the final game that creatures varied a lot, because they don't vary much at all in terms of behavior and health and stuff like that. They kind of just walk around, some attack you, some run away, that's it. So it's like a 0 or a 1. Besides that though, a quest system would be pretty cool, except without a proper bookmark system for planets, I can't really see that happening ever. But having to deliver some alien cargo to certain planets, or needing to assassinate some rogue aliens, etc., like the Radiant quest system in Skyrim, that would really be cool. really, really cool. And anyways, it's more than the current something, which is nothing. So something is infinitely more than nothing right now. Scribe89 said that, here's what it would take for me to come back. I don't really expect this to get implemented. However, if they did some of this, that would be absolutely amazing. First of all, more life in the galaxy, faction wars, allow us to take a side with a specific faction and trade goods with them, make it so that if I pick one faction, other factions attack me when they see me because I'm their enemy. Animal neutral life variation, animals in the game currently are pretty boring. Some of them attack you, but that's about it. Make the animals more interesting somehow. The factions all sit in buildings doing essentially nothing. Why aren't they walking around on planets? We don't even talk to them or anything like that. Just make them do things. Secondly, base building. This goes along with my next point. He says, I would really like to make a home in a cool galaxy by collecting resources to build a sweet base so that I can have people come over and see. Alright, that's multiplayer, but anyways. Allow me to lock my base so people can't come in, make the base building in depth and creative. If I want to have a bed and a waterfall flowing through my house, let me do it. Okay, galaxy waypoints with simpler travel. We are currently limited in our hyperspace ability, which would make it difficult for me to travel back to my base if I ever built one. Make it so that I can travel easily from star to star so that I can build a base and get back to it easier. I want to waypoint my base so that I can get back to it after going looking for some cool resources that I may need for building a cool thing. Just to like interrupt him, because that's like halfway through his post. But the idea of a bookmark system is something that I think should have been in the game already. There was a post on the subreddit where people were trying to make their own bookmark system, and I think it is still going on in No Man's High, etc. But it's really interesting because it's weird to me that there is no bookmark system, because the way they spoke about it, they wanted the universe to be huge and vast and stuff, which kind of contradicts the point that if the universe is so big and you can only explore like 1% or 10%, whatever Sean Murray said, then what's the point of not giving people the ability to bookmark stuff properly? And I don't mean recording it down that you discovered it, etc. I mean like bookmark it, able to get back there incredibly easily, stuff like that. And then quicker travel is always good, I think, in games. If you discover like a waypoint, every local cluster should have like a waypoint, kind of like the thing in Mass Effect, the mass relays, I think they were called, that let you kind of like go really far, that were built a very long time. Yeah, you guys know what I mean. Anyways, he went on to say, multiplayer, well, it's not incredibly important to me. I would love to be able to invite a friend over to my base and show them my stuff. Yeah, that's true, but you'd have to find them first, which is impossible according to Sean Murray. Variety, there just simply needs to be more variety. There needs to be more resources. Some of the resources need to be extremely rare so that they can be used to build some cool rare item. That's pretty cool. Space fighting, the space fighting is so sparse and it's just clunky as it sits now. The space fighter needs to be worked on. We should be able to upgrade our ships to be awesome space fighting machines that we can use to jump in on faction wars and take out a fighter. Okay, just the idea of that sounds cool. I'll be honest, that sounds pretty cool. You can probably agree with me. The idea of having a faction war sounds a lot like Elite Dangerous. Another really cool space game. Spaceships or gun stats. There are different kinds of spaceships, but the different kinds don't mean anything. They just look different. Make the different kinds of spaceships and guns actually mean something. Make their stats actually do something. The big clunky ships should move slowly, but maybe they have stronger weapons, etc, etc. That's pretty cool. Now finally, he said, no limitations. If I want to fly my ship into a rock, let me do it, and I had better die if I do it. If I want to pull out my gun in a space station and shoot an alien, let me do it. And if I had better get jumped by all of this alien buddies, then let them do it too. That is the biggest point to me. Other games said a long time ago that the next update would include base building, so why they haven't spoken about the multiplayer aspect, etc, I have no idea. But that no limitations thing is really, really cool. Having no limits in the game in terms of a narrative would probably make the narrative itself. As in, if you don't have one, it'll make one for you. You don't need to make it, as some people suggest on No Man's High and on the subreddit itself. Some people say the story is up to you to make, etc. This would provide a narrative in a sense, which I think is really cool. It would be very similar to the Radiant style quest in Skyrim. If you guys know what I'm talking about. If you don't know about the Radiant quest, then I'm sorry, you're probably missing out on a bit of what I mean in this video, but they are randomly generated quests. They all the same, as in they're usually run here, kill this person, collect this, run back, etc, but gives you something to do. That's pretty cool. But like letting us shoot the aliens in the space stations, getting an actual wanted level where the sentinels actually go in pursuit properly, it would just add so much to this game. The idea of a sentinel team like chasing you across multiple solar systems is just so awesome, especially combined with the Radiant style quest system. bounty hunters chasing bounty hunters sounds like a cool idea, but like at the same time, ideas kind of got us in this messy spot anyways, so yeah, probably don't speculate too much. It's Ray Mills, I think, said, man, they would have to add a shit ton of content to get me back. The problem is with over 80 hours in the game, I've seen and done everything I can, and I'm still very disappointed. If they add base building, that would be fun for maybe 2 hours, then get boring. Legitimate space fights, procedurally generated quests, none of that would make people play for months here on out. Sadly, what this game needs is multiplayer or a complete revamp of what we have now. At least with the multiplayer option, you'd be able to create your own adventures with friends and just mess around for a bit. Maybe even roleplay if you're into that kind of thing. Ooh, kinky. Unless they provide a fully fleshed out base building with multiplayer and a heavy survival instinct to the game with more elements, dozens of new technologies to create, this game is good as dead. I feel like with the player base right now, it's actually pretty dead anyways, so I'm not sure things can get worse than they are right now. Unless Hello Games announces No Man's Sky 2 tomorrow or something like that, I really don't know. Or like some paid DLC, like the full game DLC for like another $60 or something. No offense to the game, but just the way Hello Games have treated the game and the aftermath, I don't think people have faith in the company enough to revive the game anyways. But we'll have to see, obviously, time will tell. Hoping that they do. I'm hoping that they do. And then finally, Master Phyllis said, I would tune back in no matter what the update contained to check it out, of course. I stopped playing before I got too bored, and I went back to Witcher 3, which has been pretty great. What would keep me playing though? Freighters, more rooms or NPCs and space stations, game mechanic tweaks, and obviously multiplayer, but that seems pretty unlikely. I think so. I don't think there's any multiplayer code in the game at all, so I have a feeling it's pretty unlikely, yeah. But from what I can see, and most of the answers only went through like maybe 5 or 6 out of 40 or so. But it seems like most people agree that freighters, space battles, and then biggest one, more variety in terms of quests, animals, the world generation, etc. Those are the 3 biggest requests, and would actually get quite a few more people back into playing the game, I think. I just want to say thanks for everyone who commented on the thread. I hope you don't mind me using your answers. I went and read all of them now, after editing. I mean, I edited this maybe a few hours ago, now I'm just looking over the rest of the thread. I went and picked a few ones with like 1 or 2 points, and I see they haven't changed much since I edited the videos, so I'm sorry that I didn't pick some of the higher level comments. At the same time, I'm kind of happy that I didn't, and I picked more of the honest ones that I thought were honest. And then a lot of them were like, I just want a refund. Obviously, we removed that, but yeah. So, anyways, that's all. Just want to say thank you very much to everyone who I quoted, anyone else who took part in it. I appreciate threads like these because I feel like people can actually be straight up and honest without a whole bunch of people coming in to defend Hello Games, No Man's Sky, whatever else comes. If you own the game, what would it take to make you play the game again? Hit me up in the comments. I love you all. Hope you're all having a great day, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Bye bye.